So this may look like just an ordinary piece of firewood, but what I found was that on one end was burl wood. And so I took this piece of firewood and I made it into these custom exotic coasters. And they are just, I've had so much fun with this. You know, I was just gonna burn that stick. That's what these marks are for. I was just gonna cut it up and burn it. But I'm glad I didn't. And today I'll show you how I did it. Well, I was out in the yard and this was going to be firewood. And then I started looking at the end grain here and I thought, wow, that is really interesting. It's kind of like a burl. So I thought maybe what we'd do is make some coasters out of this limb. Now the other end isn't nearly as pretty, so I don't know how deep it goes. But if I'm very careful, I think we can make, 2, 3, 4, you never know how many we can get out of there. So the first step is to very carefully cut this. Now this is difficult. I might have to do it by hand because trying to put this in a chop saw is not easy. That is really interesting. Let's do a few more. All right, it's the next day, and so this is one I've been working on, and so we want to get the rest of these to be looking like this. So the procedure I do with the shellac finish is I have it on several coats, and you can see it's uneven. So now we want to sand. I think this is a 220. That might take a little bit more. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get a fresh piece of sandpaper. Grab, let's see what I got here. If you ever go too far, like I did on the edge, then you're going to have to go back and reapply a little bit more, but it dries so quickly that it generally is not a problem. Now here's one that I have put a little bit of shellac on the side and then sanded to 220. And now I've got some 4/0 sandpaper, or steel wool. That'll help blend out the finish. Take out any imperfections. Okay, we'll clean that off. Now, final step is to apply a bit of paste wax. Apply some of this on here, and kind of a little bit heavy, and let it dry just like you would a car. And then come back and polish it. Maybe a bit more. The paste wax will help to make it a little more water resistant. Shellac doesn't like water. We'll let that dry and we'll polish it. All right, they are done. And after putting some paste wax on there and let them dry and then buffing them, they're just silky, silky smooth. And then you can see the burl wood coming down through the edges as well as those intricate patterns continued on down the wood. So no two are alike. And this is a great use of basically firewood that you might have. So before you go cutting it up to burn it, take a look and see if you can see any of these pretty patterns.